So I'm working on finishing the exhaust, and I got a couple new parts in. Yes, I'm putting catalytic converters on the truck because they need to have, it's a 93, so it needs to have catalytic converters. Especially if I get it inspected this year, it needs to actually pass the emissions test. So I picked up some catalytic converters, a couple new flanges, and I got my old cherry bombs. I'm just welding them together because this is going to be the very front of the tailpipe, I guess, the cat back basically. It's going to be here, then this, and then it'll go out to the tailpipe. Well, I'm just welding these together like this. Got one side done already. Well, one cat attached to the cherry bomb already. But yeah, just building my exhaust. Should sound a lot quieter with these things on. Well, she's finally back in the garage. And isn't she beautiful? Oh yeah. Got a list going, finally. This is the punch list. I think that it's enough to get me going to where, you know, I can get it inspected. Maybe even without a couple of these items, but I started working on a little bit. I'll go over some of the things, but it's there's some big things on here. There's some little things. So I decided to do some little things first, like I fixed a leak in the radiator. That was actually, it was leaking right on the top of the intake manifold, but I had to replace this whole hose because, yeah, that hose is just, well, yeah, you can see it's like it's just garbage, you know. So I had to replace that. I did a flush on the radiator through, like, I don't know, like 7 quarts of distilled water through it and flushing it, you know, like on and off, and just running it, flush it, run it, flush it, and it looks pretty good. I got the headlight switch was screwed up on this thing where it wasn't letting me flip between low and high beams, but I actually did a lot of work on the lights today. I'll just show you real quick. So I've got low beams, and those are high beams and then low beams. I got those both working. All the parking lights work too, like the running lights and the parking lights. They all light up. I had to replace these 2 bulbs in here, and that one in that side, and like that one in that side. And I only needed to replace 1 bulb in the back, though. One of the reverse lights wasn't working, like you can see. Well, actually, if I go like this, and then I can put it in reverse. But yeah, I got the backup. Oh, maybe I missed reversed. Actually, maybe this thing isn't hooked up quite right yet. I've got it hanging down a little bit. I'll shut that off. I got it hanging down a little bit because I was trying to dig out and figure out what was wrong with this switch here. And in the meantime, what I found out was, well, the high and low beam switch actually works fine. Just some of the linkage was kind of just messed up. So, but the wiper washer switch, this thing, the one that actually makes the washers go and stuff like that, and the wipers go, that thing is just garbage. You got to replace that one. The turn signals work fine, you know, that one works fine, but it's the washer one that's all fucked up. So I got to fix that. So I had it all apart, and it's still kind of half put together. At least I just wanted to put the steering wheel on it so I can like move it if I had to. The low beams are taken care of. The blinkers are blinking. So yeah, I took care of a couple things, but there's a long list going on here. And lots to choose from, you know. They've all got to be done, but some of them are, you know, bigger than others, like let's see, rear frame, like that statement right there, rear frame, that's a lot right there, you know. And so is the bed repairs aren't that bad, but the rear frame, there's a lot going on there. Once I get the bed off, I can do a couple of these other things, like fix make new brake lines for it and make new fuel lines for it and stuff like that. So those are pretty cool. But yeah, it's I'm gonna probably the next thing I'm gonna work on, I think, though, is the exhaust. Is that on here somewhere? It should be on here somewhere. Finish exhaust? Yeah, there it is. Finish exhaust. So I did work on that a little bit and got a little bit going on in here. I picked up catalytic converters because, well, they have to be on vehicle in order to pass inspection. So I just welded them onto my cherry bombs, and I'm gonna just set them in there like that. I also got some flex sections that will let me. Oh, there we go. It's these flex sections. You know, obviously they'll come out of plastic, but they're gonna go on the down pipes before hooking it up to here, and so there'll be a flange between this and that'll let the exhaust like flex a little bit. And I got some cool hangers for hanging all the exhaust on there. So yeah, I think I have enough material to get the exhaust done. So I think that's really going to be the next big thing that I work on or concentrate on. It would be nice to be able to test the motor without going freaking deaf. The thing is loud. Let's see how she looks. A little unveiling action here. Oh, look at that silvery silver goodness. I just finished like everything that I need to do on this this is the passenger side downpipe, and it came out okay, I think, as far as the shape and everything. I had to cut a section out like that big in order to get it I guess angled a little bit better, because what was happening was when I originally built this pipe, the body wasn't actually firmly attached to the frame through the body mounts. I hadn't done that part yet. So I think when I pulled it down, when I pulled the body down a little bit, like this flange right here started interfering with the bottom of the body. It was like you could see a little bump in it. So I had to kind of like angle this part down a little bit, you know, like I had to angle it down a little bit. So I cut some out and kind of re-angled it so that it's actually has plenty of clearance in there. I already test fit this one, and I just got to rewrap it and call that one good. So you can kind of see right here what I was talking about when I was hitting the top of the bottom of the cab right there. You see that mark right there? That's where the top of this flange used to be, and now you can see there's clearance here, so it won't, you know, be banging into it. The other thing too is that it's got this flex section on it now, so that, you know, the rear and the front part of the exhaust, well, the motor's going to be shaking, you know, it just shakes like crazy because cams and shit. But anyway, you can see where the other side is too, the driver's side. It's hitting up against the cab too, right there. You can see there's zero clearance under there. So what I'm going to do on this one, because there's not a lot of room on this end of things to deal with it, so I'm going to go to the straight section where it crosses under the transmission, and put my flex section in there, like closer to the heads, I guess, and that will give me the flex I need, and I'll also be able to clock this down so that it's kind of like even with that guy. That's the plan, at least. If you're wondering how I've been finishing these exhausts, what I do is I use barbecue. Little barbecue sauce is the first coat. Now that's black, flat black coat. And then, you know, James is like, well, you can't paint everything flat black, right? And you notice, like, it's not actually flat. There's a little sheen to it, right? There's a little satin action, because the finish coat is flame-proof clear satin. That's it. That's how I do it. So, just to keep the welds from rusting way too early. This is a shot of the... what is this? This is the driver's side downpipe. I got it all finished up. I'm just painting it now. Should I be building exhausts for my profession? Holy shit, man. That thing is beautiful! So the current challenge is getting the exhaust started, I guess. I want to be able to hang the exhaust as early as possible, but the problem really is that I have nothing to hang it from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically be propping it up from this cross member right here. That's the transmission cross member, or close to it, like on the frame for this outside one. I'm going to be propping up the very top of it. So I want to get like a small section with a flange on it mounted up there so that I could weld it in place onto this bracket here, onto that the hanger, and then I'll at least have a starting point. This side's kind of like lining up pretty good right now because it's so close to where its flex section is. This other section, I need to, you know, when I prop it up, it's going to be somewhere around there because the flex section I want it to be like flattened out, I guess, when I get it mounted up here. So anyway, I'm gonna make some small, you know, some small extensions here, some small extensions with the flange on them, bolt them on, and then get them kind of set in place with the hangers off of the bottom here to start. So this is an interesting view. I've got the first, like the first part of the flange is all welded up to the, like an intermediate pipe here on both sides. Then I have them welded to their hanger, where the hangers have been drilled through and kind of like bolted in place. Well, not bolted, but just kind of set in place where they're going to be. So it kind of locates the pipe up here. And then what I did was I hung them up on jack stands back here so that they're level and even and kind of pointing back where I want them to go. And that's what it looks like. Right now I've got these marked. You can see these marks. I've got a mark along the edge seam here and then some reference marks to give me an idea of where that needs to be actually welded. Same on that one right there. And then I'll take these out and weld these seams up. Then I can put the rear hangers in. But this is working out pretty much, well, exactly like I was planning it to. So far so good. Got them all in, held up on the back by some back hangers, and held up on the front by these front hangers, and that one over there. And it's time to light the fire. Now we don't have any gaskets between the mufflers yet, but I really just need to hear what it sounds like. I really need to hear it. Let the fuel pump fill up. Carb. Oh, it sounds good. It actually sounds really good. Wow. It's not quiet or any, well, it's loud still. Oh, that's still pretty loud. I can't really see anything from this side, but it sounds okay. I think it sounds all right. It's a lot quieter than it was, that's for sure. But it still sounds good. So things are going pretty good on the truck. I just got through installing a whole bunch of stuff for the ignition. I got new plug wires on there. They're not pretty yet, but they're in there on both sides. The old ones were mostly okay, except for this side. This one, yeah, right here. You can see the one of them was bad, and this is just because of like how close these boots are to the headers. And you know, before I had the lava encrusted I guess heat wrap on those headers, I mean, the shit it's seriously hot, and it definitely makes a difference that the heat wrap is as far as how much heat gets radiated. But you can see how close they are. That one's basically, it's touching the header, but it doesn't really matter because you can actually touch these with your finger and not like scald your finger, even though underneath it's like 800 degrees or something. It's crazy like that. But yeah, they're hot still, but they're not like burning hot. The other thing I did was I changed out the advance curve, the mechanical advance curve. I put in a mechanical advance curve kit in the distributor. I had to take that thing out and all apart and put some new springs and counterweights in it. And the reason I did that is because it has like a hesitation when you step on the gas, and I'm not sure if it's a fueling issue or if it's a timing issue or maybe it's a spark issue or what, but I just wanted to go through and like do what I can to make it better. And the thing about the kit that I put in there is that it has a much more, a much less aggressive timing curve on it. So it'll still advance the timing another 24 degrees mechanically, but it does it at, like gradually up to 5,000 RPM instead of the old one out of this distributor. It hits full advance probably around like 2,000 RPM or so. So you're getting like a much more aggressive timing curve on it. Not as far as like overall timing, but just like the amount of time it takes to get there. So anyway, I'm gonna try this curve on it and see if that does any better. The other thing I did, oh, here's my new wiring kit, my new spark plug kit, PermaShield, Packard Delcor ignition wire set. And then I got a new serpentine belt for the front too. This one's not too bad. Like you could see some cracks in it, like here and there, but it's not really the cracks that were bothering me. The fact is that like past couple days it was raining, right? And when I was starting it up and running it, of course with my new mufflers on there, it's nice to run it in the garage without just going crazy. But when I was running it, the belt would squeak. So I was like, oh, what the heck, man? So I got a new belt. And sure enough, like if you look, like this belt, this thing pulley right here is the tensioner, and it swivels on this part right here. And so you see how it's like swiveled up like that? Well, with the old belt, it was like swiveled all the way down. So like there was a lot of like, basically the old belt was stretched out pretty bad. So it wasn't getting a lot of tension on the belt because it was at the end of its tensioner kind of pulley. Anyway, I haven't run the new belt yet because I haven't run any of this stuff yet. I figure I'm going to clean up the ignition wire, the spark plug wires here real quick before I fire it up. And then also it's kind of late at night, so I'll probably fire it up tomorrow or something. But yeah, I'm anxious to see if these things fix the acceleration issue that I'm having. Just kind of like a little hesitation, kind of like a little hesitation when you step on the gas. It's almost like a miss, so we'll see. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I put a new wiper switch in so that all of these positions, they all work. That wasn't working before. All you could do was like this bit, which is the washer. Anyway, see this little Summit sticker? Because it doesn't have a pointer for where it's at, so that's off. Then these are all the delays, low, high. Pretty cool. All I gotta say is that it runs so much better on 8 cylinders than it does on 7. I got the timing set. It's running pretty good. I've done some little acceleration tests in and out of my garage. No more hesitation. It was just strictly a miss on that last cylinder in there where the plug wire was bad. And you could tell that cylinder hasn't been working at all because of all the smoke coming off of the header that wasn't actually burnt off yet because that cylinder was never used. Anyway, I've got it parked out here, and when James comes home, we'll take it around the block. Which should have been an epically awesome day, just turned into a shit show. She's leaning a little crooked, you see. Oh man. Just got my insurance today, and was waiting for James to get home to test drive it. Actually, Colleen got home before him, and I was able to take her home in it, and it was fine and everything. And then James comes home, we'll go for a little test drive. We'll go to the gas station because it needs a little gas, right? But on the way, that freaking tire falls off and just chaos ensues. James got some of it on his Snapchat. I think I'm just gonna roll that in at this point, and so that I don't make a long story, so I don't make a long story long. I'll just try to make it as short as possible, but here's that tasty footage.
straightaway. Clean drive. Oh yeah. Whoa, whoa. Drive of shame. This is post wheel falling off and putting 3 lug nuts on it terribly. Well, I'm recording it now. This is out of gas, 3 lug nuts on a flat tire. Ugh. I'm sure we could patch that. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, no.
So you can hear in footage exactly when I knew something was seriously wrong. And you can see in the footage when the truck leans over violently to the left. And just for a brief second, you could see where I'm starting to ride down the road on the bottom of my steering knuckle here, rubbing the ball joint, just the bottom of the fastener for the ball joint just completely off. So I don't know how much more I want to say about it, except that, you know, everybody's all right. James is all right. I'm all right. The truck is, you know, not too bad. It's not too bad of a damage. The other car was a little Honda with a lady and her kids in the back, and I don't know, a lot of plastic on the front got all messed up and stuff, and I mean, just a lot. It's all plastic on these little Hondas, and well, any car anymore anyway. That's just kind of wrecked. But you know, the cops came and you know, they gave us some flares and gave us some time to switch out the some of the, because all of the lug nuts were missing on this tire. You can see, like, we got one back on most, you know, like all the way, and then the other two, just all those lug studs need to be replaced. Tires obviously bad. I got to get a new lower controller or lower ball joint on that side. I think other than that, I think it's probably fine. But you know, they let us, you know, pull some lug nuts from the other tires and gave us flares and helped us out there for a little bit. But we got it off the road and or finally like drove it up and, you know, like drove it up the street and decided on a back way home, something out of the way, not on much traffic, and just kind of limped it home. And halfway home, of course, I ran out of gas because I was on the way to the gas station, and this thing is, well, it's a guzzler, I guess you could say, but it's fine. I don't mind it guzzling. You know, I mean, I'll try to get it as you know, as good gas mileage as I can, but you know, I mean, I just can't help it. There's a lot of power going on in there, so it's going to guzzle a little bit. Anyway, on the way, you know, the other thing that became an issue, of course, was, you know, cops were like, "Where's your inspection?" And I was like, well, you know, I've been working on it. I'm trying to get it out here. This is the reason I'm trying to shake it down anyway. And the guy was cool. The guy was totally cool about it. He was like, I understand, blah, 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 but, you know, I got to write you up for inspection. And so that is going to be the next focus. We've kind of like highlighted all the shit that we got to do to get this thing actually inspected. And I'm actually a little ahead of the game because some of that stuff I've already done. And on top of that, I've got a set of tires. This I picked up like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago off of Craigslist. Some used tires. They've got some good tread on them though. Definitely enough to get me through inspection for like a year or two or whatever, until they last, or however long. But they look pretty good. And so those will be going on. And yeah, basically the next focus is going to be all about the inspection, because that's got to happen I'll just say relatively soon. Got to get it inspected. But so the end of an epically bad day is, well, it's not terrible, you know. At least I had the insurance coverage there, and everybody's okay, and no one's hurt, and the cops are cool, and I think it could have been a lot worse, but I'm just going to move forward with it, and because I really want to get this truck on the road, and it will be soon. Very soon.